Have you ever played in streets when you were a child? Do you remember that experience with pleasure? The first time I went to slum, what caught my attention most was the quantity of children playing in the streets. At first, the picture reminded me of my own childhood, playing in the streets with my brothers. But after some thought, I realized that the reason to play outside were in part very different for these kids. Can you imagine a slum in Buenos Aires? Buenos Aires has 12.7 million people in the metropolitan area. The same area has almost 1,000 informal settlements formed by slums, shantytown, and low-resources neighborhoods. Houses are very small and overpopulated, so the only alternative for children is to play outdoors. They go out and play with any kind of object and people they find. They are exposed to drug dealers or to lost bullets that came from wars between gangs. And they are also exposed to Paco. Paco is a very toxic drug, similar to crack, made out of residues of cocaine. So, cocaine is a drug for wealthy people, and Paco is for poor because of its price. People begin to take Paco when they are adolescents, and it causes them a great body damage, market weight loss, and viral reaction to dependency is nearly immediate. Some of them are rehabilitated by churches and organizations. But even for those, finding a job is really difficult because they lack studies or social capital and because they belong for a model of structural poverty, so they have social stigma. But let me tell you something, this is not how the story ends for them. At Villa Martelli Chess Club, we always had the tireless ambition of carrying the game of chess to every corner because we are convinced of the benefits and opportunities that is conveyed. In our institution, there is a municipal school offering free classes for all ages. Yet, we realized that there were no kids for the lower resources neighborhoods. Why? Because their lives happen inside the neighborhoods. So here we have our first learning. Free does not mean inclusive. Available does not mean accessible. So how could we make this opportunity accessible even for them? Well, we should go to the slums. So the action began. We went to the neighborhoods and we reached young people who were recovered from Paco. We offered them a special grant to take a course in our institution, which is a model school as regard of teaching quality. After a 2-month course where they learn chess and pedagogy, and after passing the final exam, they receive a degree as chess instructor. This degree is ratified by the Secretariat of Education of the municipality. This is important. And why is this that important in their lives? Well, this degree enables them to teach in any educative institution of our country. So this empowers them without making them dependent only on our program. So these young people go back to their neighborhoods and to their streets, but now as chess instructors. Coordinated by us, they give open and free classes in squares and community dining halls. At the end of the month, they collect their salary, and year after year, they take on a new training to improve their level of teaching. These young people work as a bridge between neighborhoods and chess life because they better know the necessities and the goals of their communities. In chess, a single move can completely change the opportunities of a player. In the same way, with this activity, in this single move, change takes place. This population under risk finds something new, something that was sophisticated or distant to them. So in first class, they learn how to move the pieces and the basic, and then they start playing and playing and playing. Tactics and strategy comes after. And a chess set of those which are sold in markets are very expensive for vulnerable people. We develop a chess set which anyone could have access to. This paper cup chess is given to them in their first class. Together with their communities, we gather plastic lids so they can make their own first chess set with no cost at all. And they can keep on playing even when the class has finished. And in this way, chess appears in everyday landscape, being a meeting point with knowledge. Our people met us in community dining halls, where they go to satisfy a basic need, filling their stomach. But when they leave, they had filling their stomach, feeding their ideas, and develop new skills. Which are these new skills? Well, there are too many, but some of them. They increase their memory and creativity. They develop the capacity of anticipation. They generate consciousness of the relationship between action and consequences. But in this context, the power of chess is one of the most inclusive sports of all. Since it can be played by boys or girls, young people, old people, blind people, poor people, rich people, between equals. That's why the name of our program is Chess in Neighborhoods for Inclusion, ABI for their initials in Spanish. This is the aim of all of this, to equalize people in at least one aspect of their lives. The object is not to train a national champion, but to give them a tool that helps them make better choices along their lives, that gives them the possibility of anticipating their problems and to find the multiple possible solutions for them. Well, this was what we offered and what we looked for. But along the way, what we found was unexpected because there were benefits for all. First, the new instructor. They began a worthy and decent career. They became examples of self-improvement for their communities. And they were also invited to play a professional chess league with the chess grandmasters, playing between equals. Second, the children. They developed curiosity and they were so enthusiastic, so we began to organize inter-neighborhood tournaments. And now, once a month, they participate in scholastic leagues. Again, playing between equals with other children who live in a totally different reality. And sometimes also winning, as you can see. And third, for our institution, it was a great learning. We could see our educative community, parents, teachers, students, going voluntary to neighborhoods where they, before this experience, would be afraid of entering. I remember the first year of this project. We began the call from a church in the slum 1140 in Buenos Aires, and the first training was given just for 4 new instructors. But when ideas are put into action and are shown, doors begin to open. This is our 5th year running this project. Now we have the support of the municipality and different NGOs. So we have more than 100 new instructors with their diplomas, 500 students in 25 different neighborhoods, from Federal Capital, some Argentinian province, and even we cannot believe it, we are also present in Chibuto, Mozambique. So there you have Vicente Lopez in Buenos Aires and Chibuto at Mozambique. So, how did it happen? Well, telling our story, sharing it. When we like what we do, and when we get involved in a project, we can see opportunities everywhere. And in this way, it's easy to find people with similar interests or related values. Together with a community center where we already teach in Buenos Aires, we send chess sets, books, and all the necessary material. Today, more than 40 students for the rural schools from the zone receive classes from Claudia and Samuel. I don't know them, but I know they are there. And although in a very distant place, we are part of the same team and of the same dream put it into action. Well, this is only a model, an idea, which only could have been an utopia. But it was fulfilled and became real step by step. In Argentina, it also worked in Mozambique. So why not in your countries? Or why not with something else? We are now about doing the same with robotics and coding as well. There is an Italian proverb that says, at the end of the game, the king and the pawn go into the same button box. This means that death equalizes the poor and the richest. But during life, day after day, life does not equalize them. So it depends on us, the rest of the pieces on the chessboard, to protect and to support them, because we are part of the same team that is the society. So, I invite you to honor the fortune that you had on learning something that transformed you by teaching that knowledge to someone who wouldn't have the chance to learn it any other way. Muchas gracias. Gracias.